Hello, everybody, and welcome back to World of Warships Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43, and tonight we are back in Louisiana because it was nerfed. So now we're going to go out and we're going to see whether or not the nerf was useful or not, or if it was just a gigantic waste of everybody's time. I honestly don't understand how difficult it must be for the balance team to figure out what's busted about a ship and then how to fix it. Like, it's so difficult for the balance team to figure this stuff out. So, let's go over it. We're running Commander Riker, of course. We have Azure Lane, Colorado, Paolo de Rebel. We're running Flambeau Cannoneer, Gyrating Drill Bits, Marksmanship, and we are running Pegasus with Fight Fire with Fire, of course. We have the AA Guns Mod 2. We have Steering Gears Mod 2. We have Concealment System Mod. And we have the Epic Artillery Plotting Room Mod 2. Alright. So, we have the Hector flag, we have the Across the Storm camo, and, everything else is just base. But what did they nerf about the ship? Well, one of the things they nerfed was the main battery reload time, because that's what was wrong with this ship. It just reloaded too fast. That's it. So they gave a 2-second nerf to the main battery reload time, and as you can see, it's still sub 30 seconds with this build. So it's still fine. Like, there's nothing, they effectively did nothing. Let's see, a 2-second nerf over the course of a battle. Does it even amount to a single salvo? No. It just doesn't. So a 2-second nerf, if you're reloading every 30 seconds, it would mean that every 15 salvos, right? Every 15 salvos, I lose one salvo. that's what we're looking at, right? Everything else, there isn't really that much of a change. I forget what they changed. Two things about it, and I don't remember exactly. I know one was the main battery reload. Let me look it up real quick, and I'll get back with you. All right, according to the Ministry of Balance, oh yeah, that's right. They slowed down the torpedo speed because that extra 5 knots of torp speed is going to be the big difference, right? Instead of doing all that, at least the torp speed is trying to get at the major problem, which isn't the fact that the ship can drop the damn torpedoes right off your side of your ship, but if you want to actually make a difference with this, you need to do one of two things. Either reduce the damage of the torpedoes, or take the minimum arming distance of those torpedoes and double it. So that these torps have to come at you from a distance. Because otherwise, the slower torpedoes make no difference whatsoever. They went from 55 knots to 50 knots. They've never been fast torpedoes. So slowing them down further makes no sense whatsoever. The problem is that they can be dropped right off the side of your ship. So I don't understand what they're getting at there. Let's go ahead and get to the gameplay for you guys. Alrighty, so we're going to be on Hotspot, and we're going to try to see whether or not the nerfs to the Louisiana make any difference to the gameplay at all. And I'm just going to go ahead and say, spoiler alert, they don't. The nerf to this thing is laughable. It's been overpowered since its release, and despite everybody knowing that it's overpowered as shit, they just left it and left it and left it. Now, I will say this. If there's one thing that I am most terrified about, it's how busted are the Japanese torpedo bombers going to be when they bring in the hybrids next update. So, for those of you who don't know, the Japanese battleship hybrids are supposed to be coming too. Very soon. And they still haven't figured out how to make these things balanced yet. So I can only assume that, American torpedoes seem to be pretty mediocre most of the time throughout history. That the Japanese, with their torpedo technology, would have absolute devastation. And given how busted this thing is for doing 25,000 damage, what are we going to be getting? Hits for 40k? Is that what we can expect out of the Japanese hybrid carriers? Because they got to have better torpedoes, right? If they want to be historical, surely the torpedoes of the Japanese will be better than ours, right? But here, you're going to see right off the bat, we're going to go ahead and take a shot at the Schlieffen. He's going to actually be turning away, so we're not actually going to get much out of this. I think we hit one shell out of the salvo. But the main thing is that I want you guys to pay attention at the beginning of the match. The very first thing that I always do is check the teams. Why is that? Am I looking for specific people? No, I couldn't care less who I'm up against. I don't care if it's an entire Super Unicum division. It doesn't bother me. What I'm looking at is team composition. What's on our team, what's on their team. Specifically, what are the enemy destroyers and what are our destroyers? And when I notice right off the bat that we have one gunboat and they have two gunboats, that puts us at a huge disadvantage. And I get into chat and I say to our Shimakaze specifically, and again, there's no guarantee that he even has his freaking chat on because most people have it off, and I can't really blame you. But for most people specifically, I pointed out to the Shima that both of the enemy destroyers are fully capable of murdering him, right? And you can see that the enemy destroyer has gotten into the cap right off the bat. So, not ideal. And then this is before we know what's going around, but you can see I'm about to go ahead and try to drop Torps blind into this smoke screen because you just know. You never know, right? Like, I got nothing else to use them for, and you can see I'm kind of deciding whether or not I want to do it. And watch this. As soon as I freaking drop the Torps, the Shima is like, yep, I'm going to YOLO forward now. And you know what's waiting for him. And it gets worse because the two ships that end up getting spotted over here are a Napoli, which will murder a destroyer, and a freaking Mino, which will murder a destroyer. So this destroyer is blindly charging, knowing that they're up against the odds, into the worst situation that he could possibly ever put himself in. And so we get a good hit on the Napoli as the Napoli is dumb enough to go full broadside and gets real lucky that we didn't multiple Citadel him and send him to the Shadow Realm for making that turn. But you'll see that in a moment, our destroyer is pushing straight into it. And he saw the Napoli now, right? So anybody with a brain in a destroyer is going to go, okay, that's a Napoli. That's a lot of SAP secondaries. That's usually shooting HE out of the main guns. We're probably not wanting to push into that. And then, of course, the Kaba's right there, so Kaba's going to try to murder him. And then the Mino gets spotted right next to him as well. Now, our Mino is going to do some Daka here in a smoke screen. But, yeah, I don't know exactly what I should or shouldn't say about this game in particular, but we're going to try to do everything that we can to carry our team to a victory. Like, that's just all there is to it. Now, right off the bat, we've lost 2 ships, they've lost 1, right? Our Shima gets himself murdered. Shocker. Who could have seen that coming? Oh, wait, everybody. We all knew it was coming. But, meanwhile, the good news is their Napoli did go down. Now, I don't know if it was the Preußen out on the edge. I wasn't paying attention if he got him or what, but Mino comes around the corner over angle. Doesn't really matter, I overmatch him anyway. But we get a single Citadel straight through the bow. I was hoping for better. But then we're going to look over here. We got to wait for our guns to reload anyway, so we're going to set up a cross-torp on this main, who has no idea that I'm even targeting him, right? Because that's the power of this ship. Like, I can deal with everything that's in front of me. I can keep myself angled to the... You can see Cabo here. I mean, he's telegraphing exactly what he wants to do. You can see I'm begging, and we land all 6 torpedoes because, you know, that nerf to the torpedo speed really did a good job. Well done. Ministry of Balance on point as always. But you can see I'm already rotating the rear turret around because I need to get ready to shoot this guy. Right? And you can see I'm going to ask for support here, too, because I have a fucking Mino right behind me. But this guy is clueless when it comes to shooting. Like, I don't know if I've ever seen a worse Mino shooter. And that's saying something. But this Kaba, again, he telegraphed exactly what he was going to do. So before he even goes, he just gets obliterated. 5 shells straight through him. All the turrets ready to go. And you can see now we're being shot in a crossfire from the main, who, you know, you knock on their door, eventually they're going to answer, right? So now that he's aware that I exist, he's going to start targeting me. So now I have to reverse and be ready to bow tank him if at all possible. Now, we've already gotten rid of one of their destroyers. We don't know where the second one is just yet, but it was last seen over at Charlie. And we know their Mino is right here. And you can see our Mino dropping torps trying to, I guess, torp the Mino, maybe if the Mino decides to come around the corner. But you can see we get our planes back, so we're going to go ahead and drop them again. And again, just able to drop them in a position where Yeah, if the guy turns towards my direction, there's a good chance those torps don't arm in time. But generally speaking, if you're hitting somebody who doesn't even know you exist half the time, they don't know, and until it's too late, and there's another 20,000 damage. It's stupid, man. These torpedoes are so busted, and have always been so busted, and yet Wargaming acknowledges there's a problem and does nothing to fix them. Like, I don't get it, man. I don't. Like, I'm not a developer. I'm not part of the Ministry of Balance. I know a lot of people out there with their tinfoil hats think that CCs have all this ability to affect the game overall. But the realistic part of it is they couldn't care less about what CCs say. Like, we can make, unless we're being, like, just straight up jerks to people and whatever, but, like, that's different. But, like, as far as gameplay goes, yeah, they'll take our advice and throw it right on the back burner with everything else. Like, we're going to take these torps. We knew we were going to take these torps. But yeah, so that's a problem, right? Like, we get rid of them, but the Wargaming doesn't care when it comes down to what CCs say about ships. As far as they're concerned, everything is working just fine until they get data that proves otherwise. And I don't know what data they're collecting, but every time that this ship goes into battle, I generally dominate whatever I'm against. Generally. There's obviously going to be some caveats, and this is actually one of those caveats, because now you can see that I'm going to try to get behind an island here, but I'm going to maintain being spotted. Now, what on earth allows a gunboat to just sit here in open water and gunboat me? And I'll tell you, it's straight up and simple. I've got a Mino who's not in position to do anything. I've got a Preußen who's not in position to do anything. I'm the one responsible for helping get rid of the main, most of his hit points, right? We hit him for two full sets of torpedoes. It's almost 40,000 damage off of that man, or more than 40,000 damage, depending on how bad we did actually hit him. And then, I will give Mino credit. He comes forward, he tries to drop me a smoke screen, but notice I just fired my guns. So this smoke screen doesn't do crap, at least not initially. And then the Mino loses half his hit points for it. So again, like, it does make you wonder what goes through everybody's mind. And again, out of the whole team's dumbness here, the Mino isn't what I'm like trying to key in on as far as like goofy plays. But when you see how this match ends up playing out, like, we are technically in the lead when it comes to how many ships we have left. But again, this Mino just randomly starts dropping single-file torpedoes that are stacked on top of one another with no hope in hell of ever hitting anything, unless the destroyer decides to YOLO back around the corner and run into him, but that's not going to happen. That destroyer's primary job right now is to spot for his team, and of course, our destroyer's primary job is to get himself fucking murdered by the goddamn guy that is perfectly suited to murder him. And he doesn't even kill the thing. So we've had two destroyers do dumbass things that gets themselves killed, and then of course the other guys on the other side of the map, the Marlborough and I forget what other guy was on the thing, but this Leshun starts actually getting into a gunfight with a Mino, and the Mino's still not in a position to help get rid of him. So I come around the corner, I hit him, and we're going to take a little bit of ship damage off of him, just one overpen. And then I'm going to try to put myself in a position to affect the rest of this. We know the Dalian's out on our right. We know the Leshun's here. I'm going to try to go around this corner to get behind the mountain so that I can limit who can engage me from the Minnesota and so on, so I can focus the rest of the team. And that's when another fantastic thing that I love about this game comes into play, and that is the invisible underwater island. Yes, that's my favorite thing about this game. It's one of my favorite things. I love beaching on absolutely nothing. Now, I know in reality that islands extend underwater. But here's the thing. I don't have a depth under keel gauge, Wargaming. I know it's crazy. Maybe you guys think I should have a acoustic sounder or whatever you want to call it that gives me the depth under keel. But once again, Leshun's sitting here broadside begging for it. Should be easily killed by the Mino, and he doesn't even take a shot until it's too late. And of course, I put 5 shells right through the guy. And now I'm going to try to reverse, get off the island, because, you know, this game is just completely fucked when you beat yourself. So you got to try to like wiggle yourself loose off of this bullshit. Meanwhile, you're getting farmed by everybody in the lobby. And the moment I finally think I'm getting ready to go forward, then the center of my ship gets beached again. So I'm stuck again. And LeShun still sitting in the smoke screen, still shooting at me. Still no one anywhere near to be useful, right? And just as I finally get off the corner to be able to get away from the freaking destroyer who's spotting me, we get spotted because the Dalian comes around the corner, and he's actually spotting for his team. So now Dalian comes out of a smoke screen, comes around the corner. The Schlieffen over there that's full fucking health, because of course he is, takes a shot at me, and that's going to be the end of my game. But, I don't know if you noticed, I got those torpedoes off. Very agile little cruiser, right? And, unfortunately for that very agile little cruiser, he forgot that I have the ability to drop torpedoes. And he eats 5 out of the 6 and goes down. So I think we can be honest with ourselves here when we talk about just how busted this ship still is. Like, this nerf meant nothing. There was nothing about this nerf that did anything in terms of adjusting what is broken about the ship. And that's what drives me crazy more than anything. Because they will nerf and buff ships in ways that make absolutely no fucking sense. And I've said this to Wargaming. I've said this. This is why I don't even bother talking in the like feedback section 9 times out of 10 in the community Discord, because there's no reason. Like, it don't. They have all of the data in their hands to tell them that this ship is perfectly balanced and has always been perfectly balanced. The only reason they're nerfing it right now is probably because they think that there's been enough upheaval for the last 2 years that the ship has been in the game that maybe they should do something with it. So they decide to do something that makes absolutely no sense. I don't understand their reasoning. I will never understand their reasoning. We did our job. Preussen actually ends up getting second on the team because he did dev strike the Napoli, but that just basically goes to show how useless the rest of the team was in this particular match. That the Preussen, who's full health, that did basically nothing for the entire game other than dev strike the Napoli, he gets second on the leaderboard. And yeah, I don't know, man. This game has gotten to a point where I don't know. I don't know anymore. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments below, and if you like what I'm doing, punch the like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you in the next video.